Hello everyone. Today we're going to be looking at the inverse function, and we're going to look at how we find an inverse function and how we verify an inverse function. So let f and g be two functions such that f of g of x equals x and g of f of x equals x. Inverse is read f inverse. And whenever we see the f inverse, you'll have a -1 by the f. So this is read f inverse. But notice in the definition it says if I plug the function g in f, I should get x. And if I plug the function of f into g, I should also get x. This helps us to verify if the functions are inverses of one another. And to be able to verify, you have to do both. So, let's begin with f of g of x. In the previous lesson, we learned that we just replace g of x with what they've given us. And we have f of x plus 7 divided by 4. So all we did was replace g of x with what they gave us. Now take a look at f. Everywhere we see x, we're going to plug in x plus 7 divided by 4. So here we have 4. And I have an x, so let's replace it. X plus 7 divided by 4. And then minus 7. So let's take a look at it. Notice that my 4's cancel out. And I'm left with x plus 7 minus 7. Positive 7 and minus 7 cancels out. And I get x. So it verifies for the first one. But for them to truly be inverse functions, you have to verify g of f of x as well. All right? So now we're going to replace f of x with what we are given, and we get g of 4x minus 7. So everywhere we see an x, we will replace that with 4x minus 7. So let's look at g. So we have an x. So let's replace that with 4x minus 7 plus 7 divided by 4. Okay. So if we look at the numerator, notice that minus 7 plus 7 cancels out, and I'm left with 4x divided by 4. Well, my 4's cancel out, and I'm left with x. So since both of them checked out, f of x, which is 4x minus 7, has an inverse of x plus 7 divided by 4. All right, so this is how we will rewrite it. So now that we verified, now we are going to, okay, Ms. Reese, how do we actually find the inverse of the function? Well, I am so glad you guys asked. And here are the rules. Now remember, we want to follow the rules. Follow the rules to be able to get the math. So to find the inverse function, The first thing is we're going to replace f of x with y. So we're going to swap them two out. Instead of writing f of x equals, we're going to write y equals. Once we've done that, we're going to interchange x and y. So wherever you see x, you're going to write a y. Wherever you see y, you're going to write x. Once you do that, we're going to solve for y, get y by itself. And once you get y by itself, you are going to replace that with f inverse of x because we have just found the inverse. So we're going to do a couple of examples. And the first one is finding the inverse of a function f of x equals 7x plus 5. All right, so rule 1, replace f of x with y. So instead of writing f of x equals, we're going to write y equals 7x plus 5. This takes care of rule 1. Now, rule 2 tells us to interchange. So that means wherever you see y, make it an x. Wherever you see x, make it a y. So now we have x equals 7y plus 5. Step 3 is solve for y. Okay. Step 3, we're going to move this over and we get x minus 5 equals 7y. And divide both sides by 7. And we have y equals x minus 5 over 7. And then rule 4, it says replace y with f inverse of x. And so our answer is going to be f inverse of x equals x minus 5 divided by 7. All right, now let's take a look at B. First rule, swap out f of x with y. So we have y equals x cubed plus 1. Now we're going to interchange x and y, and we get x equals y cubed plus 1. We're going to solve for y, and we have x minus 1 equals y cubed. And to get y by itself, we are going to take the cube root to get rid of a cube. And we get y equals the cube root of x minus 1. And remember, the last rule is to interchange or replace y with f inverse. So f inverse of x equals the cube root of x minus 1. So that tells us an inverse function, but what does that look like as ordered pairs? If I have a function that has the ordered pairs 0, 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, and I wanted to find this ordered pair inverse, what we are going to do is interchange x and y values, okay? All right, so our x and our y's interchange. So the inverse for this point would be 1, 0. The inverse would be 5, 2. And here, our inverse would be 8, 7. So this concludes today's lesson. If you all have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. This concludes chapter 2, and I will be posting a quiz for you to take on the last couple of lessons that we've gone over. And I want you all to get ready because the test will be coming up next week, which is very soon. Remember, if you have any questions or concerns, do not hesitate to contact me. I look forward to speaking to you all. Have a great day.